Hello guys, welcome back to the full beer reviews from James Montreal Beer Reviews. This is the first full episode of 2012, continuing season 7 I guess, but this is going to be just, getting into the big beer season, which is what's going to be happening from now on. Really, I started out in December. This is the second episode of the big beer season and the 15th episode of Season 7. Today's beer was kindly provided by Elharlock from Halifax Beer Reviews. I'm sure most of you know him either way. He was sort of my godfather. He got me interested in beer reviewing, and he also helped me out during my first couple of months to get more views. So thanks a lot, Lee. This is the Propeller Revolution Stout. This is a Russian Imperial Stout, sits at 8% ABV, which is probably going to be the lowest alcohol content in my big beer season, I guess. This is still strong enough for a Russian Imperial Stout. Comes from Halifax, Nova Scotia, and from what I've heard, it's fairly rare to find it. So I'm really happy to be able to try this nice half-liter bottle. This is a sort of old-fashioned German kind of sized bottle. So the description here says this beer was born for greatness. Sent by English brewers via the Baltic Sea to the court of the Tsars, Russian Imperial Stout was brewed to very high gravities and allowed to ferment on a long voyage. The result, a dark, strong and bracing brew embittered by Peter, adored by Catherine, now acclaimed by you, the people, Zavas. Which is actually, that's nice, is more like what people actually say when they say cheers in Russia, because Nazdarovia, whatever they say, is completely just fake. Nobody actually says that in Russia. I don't know. Immigrants sometimes do. Maybe that's how the whole myth was born. It's kind of weird for me as a Russian, I guess, that it's a Russian Imperial Stout, but it's called Revolution. It's got the kind of communist fashion star, because the style was born way before the Revolution. It dates back to the 18th century. Just like it says on the label, but the revolution kind of put an end to the Russia as they knew it back then. So the notions are kind of different, but either way, it's a nice looking label, and I'm really excited to try this beer. So let's go ahead and review it. Okay, so very nice looking, typical Propeller cap on the beer. It's also my 4th beer from Propeller. I think all of those came from Lee, because I don't get any Propeller in my area. So thanks a lot. Okay, so it's a beautiful, beautiful kind of looking beer. Typical dark opaque brown color to the beer, with a nice kind of mocha colored head. Looks pretty much like the book definition of Russian Imperial Stout. Right off the start, I can get some hops in the beer. I think I've checked on the website. It's got 60 IBUs, so it's quite massive for a stout. They do use Cascade and I think Warrior. Nice sort of earthy touch to it, but all the while it's very roasty. Getting chocolate, bit of vanilla, quite a bit of espresso. Cheers. Oh, this is really good. Gotta say, I'm having this fairly cold, but I did let it out of the fridge probably 4 or 5 minutes before I started the review. So that plus the hoppiness, which is fairly strong and fairly noticeable, make up for a really good masking for the alcohol content. But it is fairly bitter. I mostly get that roastiness, slightly burnt texture back. Very good sweetness to the beer. Really creamy texture despite the kind of roasty bitterness. It's not very thick. It's probably medium to full bodied still. Definitely loads of vanilla. And it's starting to show a bit more right now. So far I can't find anything wrong with the beer, I can't find anything that's lacking here. Not boozy, intense enough. And the hoppiness is well nice, it actually shows up in the aftertaste. And I'm getting a bit of a citrusy kind of tang as well. Thanks a lot, Lee, that's just a really nice treat. I'll be back in a few moments. Okay, so I'm back with the Propeller Revolution. This is a marvelous, marvelous Russian Imperial Stout all in all. I'm really liking the hoppiness and the vanilla notes. Very nice level of sweetness. Yeah, a bit of dark fruit, maybe prunes and dates. Interesting beer. 8% It might not be as big on alcohol, but it's certainly big enough on the flavour, so it deserves to be considered big beer for the purposes of my review. Alright, so originally I was going to give this an 8 out of 10 because I thought, you know, there are more potent and more complex beers out there, so I should probably, you know, take into account that kind of concept, that kind of fact. But then I thought about it. This beer has got everything you'd expect from a Russian Imperial Stout, as far as, you know, the key ingredients and the key flavors and the key tasting notes go. Moreover, it's very drinker friendly, it's very drinkable. You know, you get less alcohol, more drinkability without having to compromise the actual flavors of the beer. I've had most of the beer, so almost half a litre of this lovely liquid, and even though I got a small kind of minor buzz with a nice warming sensation, this is definitely not a beer that's going to, you know, get you hammered fast or slow, either way. So if you want, you know, the flavour without excessive kind of madness going on. So cheers to Propeller, the brewery, for making such a nice beer. Once again, thanks to Lee for providing this beer. I'm really happy I tried it. This was really interesting and really enjoyable too. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for this beer for Propeller Revolution. I'm going to sign out here, guys. Really enjoyed this one. Looking forward to more big beer reviews. I hope you are too. Stick to good beer. See you in the next episode. Bye. Cheers.